Good evening, everybody. I live in Northampton in central England. Well, now, my story goes back to 1956 when I became a lowly bank clerk. Even in those days, perhaps rather like the three clerks, we used to sit on tall stools at sloping desks, writing up ledgers by hand. But being ambitious, I studied for the exams of the Institute of Bankers, and when I eventually completed them, I managed, rather to my surprise, to win a couple of prizes. Now, this unexpected distinction caused those in the corridors of power in the bank to wonder who this otherwise insignificant pen pusher labouring away at a remote country branch might be. So I was summoned to attend upon one of the great men in Lombard Street. Having eyed me up and down, this august personage condescended to say that I'd done quite well in the exams, and then he asked me what I planned to do next. Now, it seemed to me that at that stage, my future lay rather more firmly in his hands than in mine, although I thought it was probably wiser not to say so. But instead, I told him truthfully, as it happened, that I was thinking of reading for a law degree. But instead of applauding this evidence of continuing zeal, he seemed singularly unimpressed. "That's all very well, Long," he said, "but if you're going to be a banker, you must learn something about life." Then there was a pause. I didn't think there was really much for me to say unless I chose to disagree with him, which seemed rather risky. And so the conversation rather hung in the air. Eventually he went on. "For example, if you found yourself seated at dinner next to a lady whom you had not previously met, how would you entertain her? A law degree will do little for you there." And in case I still hadn't got the point, he went on, "You've had your head for far too long in banking books, you know. That's all very well, but it's high time you read more widely." And at that point, he took a sheet of paper and he began to jot down a list of titles. David Cecil's Lord Melbourne, Eminent Victorians by Lytton Strachey, all good stuff. Winston Churchill's Great Contemporaries, and then some novels that I hadn't heard of. The Small House at Allington, The Eustace Diamonds, Phineas Finn. "Have you read any Trollope?" "No, sir." "Then it's time you did. He will teach you about people." 60 years later, I still have that list. I shied away from most of the biographies, but decided to try Trollope. Again, it was the Warden, and I went on to read the rest of the Barchester novels. At any rate, I gave up the idea of the law degree. Then, some years later, the foundation of this society rekindled my interest. I signed up, and his books have become an enduring joy ever since. And you perhaps won't be surprised to know that Trollope has taught me about people. That's my story.